Hi, I'm Atlas, and today I'd like to talk about my journey in TDS. I started TDS around March of 2022. My friends introduced it to me, and it was overall quite a fun game. It was right around the military work and the ow, my throat hurts a lot. Whatever, it was right around the military update and like Valentine's event ending, and for the first few months, it was really fun. The variety, the challenges and everything the game offered, from grinding and pay to winning golden skins to pay to winning accelerator and engineer. It was one of my favourite Roblox games. In April, I got the accelerator. Now, the main perk about the accelerator is it's strong. Pre-Violent Night was the best tower in the game in my opinion. Engineer was overrated. And overall the game was very fun. I took a small break in July, which is why I don't have stuff like the Beach Commander and other things. But I did buy the Gladiator. Around October I returned, and November I started trying solo hardcore. Ever since November the 17th, it has been my dream to solo hardcore, and I never did it, my closest attempt being 2126 HP. Now, overall this was devastating. My closest solo hardcore attempt has been destroyed, and I have a couple of other things to say. Now, TDS is a fun game. Many aspects about it are quite fun, and there are many facts of the game which are subject to improvement. In 2022 and early 2023, there wasn't much content, but when they started hiring a lot of people, for example, Lunar Overture, people think it was a trash event, but it wasn't. What else? The game overall got much less dry, and there's still room for improvement. First of all, they shouldn't nerf random towers to the ground. For example, Golden Cowboy can't generate money off mysteries anymore, and that's quite unfair. What else? Ace Pilot got buffed heavily, and we all love that. And solo hardcore is almost impossible now. It's quite boring, instead of being a fun challenge it's supposed to be. And I have multiple remarks to make about the game. 1. Improvement on existing modes. Hardcore does not need rework. It's difficult as it is, and it's quite fun. And then, having done the hardcore many times, I see a lot of appeal in it. And yeah, so that's the hardcore. That's hardcore. What they should do is NSC is basically the way of beating hardcore right now. There's not much appeal in beating it, not NSC, apart from if you're doing solo or duo hardcore. People like to play strategy like Lucille, Trio Miners, and others for skins like Cyber Commander, or Phantom Commander, and other things. Me personally, being a level 420 and having almost every tower in the game, I don't see the appeal in this. I think there's a much a wider range for towers like Accelerator and Engineer and Brawler. These towers are ST, but they're still very strong and should be used more. Overall perceptions on tower rankings. Towers like Pursuit and Mortar are NST. Corso made a Corso in Elite's video said, I've seen Sweats regard Pursuit as NST, but you need to consider the amount of grinding it takes there. NST does not mean it's easy to get. NST means it's not special. If towers like Pursuit, Cryptbots and turrets are NST, and you can get them the same way as Pursuit and Mortar, and Mercenary Base, just in different time. It does not mean that Pursuit and Mortar are ST. Special, it means special towers. Special does not necessarily mean the amount of time you need to grind for it. What else? Overall, Neo Hardcore. Well, not New Hardcore, or the new mode which I think of, Hard Mode Hardcore. Let's just give it the name Neo Hardcore. Now, the weight balancing should not be send random enemies every time. What should happen is they should have specialty enemies such as lead flying and hidden, but they should also have Reaver tank and other things. Wait, it is Reaver. Whatever. It's sort of modified surrounding. Now, what they should do is your income should be high, With like a very precise strategy, like how the developers have it because they suck at their own game, they should just put in like you need the perfect defense. For example, for early game, Ace Spike Golden Pyro might work, but you'll still lose a lot of HP. Invisible to come out and wave line, you need a level 3 Golden Pyro. Level 3, not 2. It's overall going to be quite difficult, and I can give groundwork for it. Specialty enemies should appear earlier. Your income should be high, but so should the health of the enemies. It should basically be a hardcore, but with mutation modifier. That's one example. And like amplified enemies, so Fallen Titan comes out, but it has like 10,000 health, not 7,000. Overall ideals on new players. I have a couple of friends, well, me probably in the top 5,000 players in the game, probably top 2,500, having a friend called Ace, Grizzly Basket, who's in the top 5,000 too. We have a couple of friends in our school who need tutoring from both of us. They're probably receiving one of the best tutorings in TDS, and they're not using it well. I have a friend called Holden, also known as Holden Curious Noob King. Well, his name is Noob King. Roblox username is Holden Curious. He's quite bad at the game. He's a level 200, but doesn't know how to farm properly. Well, the only thing he knows is to farm properly. One time we were doing Duo Hardcore NST, I told him to get a level 2 Pyromancer. He farmed. So I think there should be a more broad tutorial. For example, yes, the tutorial in TDS, it covers quite a lot of things. Just tower placement, setting, the very fundamentals of the game. I think there should be a more broad tutorial. For example, tower ratings. When I was in Naples, I had an idea. They should have like this. They should have, basically when you use a tower, you should be able to rank it out of 5 stars. This ranking is not local, so everybody can see that, say 30,000, say you bought the minigunner, and there are 30,000 total rankings on the minigun, and the average is 4.2 stars. Something like that. It could help beginners, and overall, higher level people's rankings should be held above lower people's. That hardcore matchmaking is released, and that's probably the update I wanted the most. They should. I'm not going to put too much stress on the developer since releasing a new mode does take a lot of time. Now, gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is something which is hated by a lot of people. Overall, I don't hate it, mainly because I have a lot of money to spend on game passes, but gatekeeping is a good thing. Towers like Commando, Slasher, Archer, Frost Blaster before the Winter Sale, these were all trophies. These trophies aren't useful except for commemorative purposes. If anybody says, Commando should be Game Pass, you're an idiot, because you don't see the idea of a trophy. Well, you don't understand the idea of a trophy. What else? Pneumos, gatekeeping. Oh yeah, power creep. Now, ever since Raz left, they've started to release more OP towers, step by step. Now, I think power creep should be like, they should have OP towers, but they should make them less accessible. For example, Jester. It was probably the best tower in the game, and it'll take it to a free solo hardcore triumph. No. But then they nerfed it to the ground. Now, it's barely useful. It's underrated, but I doubt anybody uses it anymore because of its potential destroyed. Now, it does have a few niche uses, such as confusion to worthless enemies and ice, so the body can still be frozen. But other than that, it's not that useful. The confusion was mainly used on big bosses such as the Fallen King and Body Reaver to give you a free win. They released a skin for it, and nobody will ever use the tower. What else? I think they should make deluxe crates more accessible. Ever since the mission update, I've gotten one quest for a deluxe crate, and I regret not doing it. Even though I've all the skins, I just wanted one more crate. And they should make them more accessible. For example, they should add like mission things for sweats. For example, duo hardcore with another player gives you 500 gems. Duo hard, they should add labels to towers such as saying turret NST, accelerator gem tower /ST, archer event tower ST. Overall, I don't see why they're doing this. Why they're not doing this. Okay, at this point I'm just yapping. What else? Gatekeeping, labels, balancing. Oh yeah, balancing. Now, multiple towers, they nerf Pyromancer and Golden Pyromancer. Not statistically, they nerf the splash damage on them. They shouldn't do that. These towers are meant to be crowd control towers, and when you're nerfing them quite badly, they don't fall into that category anymore. Gladiator, I made a video saying Brawler and it are equal, but I don't really see how they are equal at this point. Both of them are extremely esteemed towers, but having thought I got a world record with Brawler only made me think Brawler is better. I did it, the world record's 50 seconds faster. I'm an idiot. What else? So overall, they should have a more, proper tutoring system to newer players. Basically teaching them farming, because say you have an 8-year-old Timmy. No, let's just name him Dilip, I like that name more. So, say you have Dilip. He recently joined the game, his dad bought him a new iPad, and he joined Tower Defense Simulator. Dilip won't know how to farm properly because he's not allowed to YouTube. He'll spam level 0 farms to say, that is sufficient. Something on the lines of that. Tutoring system should be based towards farming and what towers to buy. For example, when you join the game, the only tower that you're it's like, buy soldier! I think. I haven't played on a new account since 2022. Now, another option is to make me a QA tester. I'd love that. And TDS is a game with a lot of potential. They're using it with their bigger developer accounts, but I think they can do much more with the game. Instead of basically reworking the entire UI every year, they should make it so you can pick the UI. So there's the Halloween buttons, there is the Frost Invasion buttons, or Frost Invasion, when the towers had animated icons. There is a VN icon, which I'll probably pick, and there is the, what's it called? Oh yeah, current UI. Now, another problem. They rework towers, and they're only doing this for content. Towers like Ranger, didn't need to be reworked. Old Ranger was better, but even if Old Ranger remained, solo hardcore with the strategy farm, Jester, Commander, Golden Minigun, and Ranger would be impossible because of Ranger's range. Because they nerfed it, solo hardcore is possible. That sounds so stupid, but whatever. Multiple brainlessness from the not smart thinking from the developers is what makes the game what it is right now. Yes, they shouldn't have OP towers, and they're trying to patch power creep, but as they patch it, they just use it more. Towers like Frostblaster exist, which is basically just Jester. Towers like Freezer exist, which is a very underrated tower. Very underrated tower. And I always get horrible Vindicator RNG. Now, a couple of changes to the game would be, do not allow perks in hardcore whatsoever. Rework some of the perks. For example, make it so you can spend gems to unbox high or mid-grade crates, because I had 32,000 gems and they're just there. I already bought all the gem towers ever to be released. So, there's a lot of things in the game. I'm not saying they should update once every week, because that just ruins the game. I'm not trying to put the devs under pressure like Souls. I'm just saying there are other alternatives, and if they make an event tower or a good event once every 3 months, the game would be happy. There's no need to overhaul the UI every second of the game. There's no need for other factors. All they need is just good updates, the things I suggested, and that's about it. Atlas Meow / Monster Onion, out.